When you're a doctor, you hear all sorts of stories. And a doctor's life partly consists of hearing extraordinary stories and trying to make sense of them. And one such story was given to me by a colleague, a surgeon, who described how in 1994 he was struck by lightning. In fact, he was on the telephone. The lightning bolt came out from the phone, hit him in the face, and he was flung backwards and he had a cardiac arrest, but he was resuscitated. He seemed to recover completely, but then something very odd happened. About 4 or 5 weeks later, a strange change started to occur in him. He'd never had much interest in music. He didn't have a piano in the house. But now suddenly he developed what he called an insatiable passion to hear piano music and then to play piano music. He got very excited by hearing a recording of Ashkenazi play some Chopin. He wanted to play that Chopin scherzo. And then he had a dream that he was performing in Carnegie Hall and performing his own music. And when he woke up, he heard music going through his mind, and it wouldn't stop. So rather suddenly, in the course of about 48 hours, a month after the lightning bolt, something started happening in this man's brain and mind, turning it towards music. And he became obsessed by music and very excited. He got a music teacher, he learned to practice, he tried to notate his compositions. He did continue to work as a surgeon, but he would, the rest of his life seemed to be devoted to music. He also got an excited feeling, a sort of mystical feeling that perhaps his life had been preserved for him to bring music to the world. And so the musical feeling and a sort of mystical, religious, slightly grandiose feeling came on him about a month after the lightning bolt. And basically this has continued ever since. And so recently, last summer, he gave a concert in which he played the Chopin scherzo very nicely. He played some of his own compositions very movingly, and he gave a talk to the audience telling them about the lightning bolt and how he had been transformed and become a different person. And they were rather turned on and wondered if they could have a lightning bolt too. And of course, as a neurologist, I was very fascinated by this and wondered what the hell has happened? What went on in his brain? There are parts of the brain, especially in the temporal lobes, which, if they're excited, can give rise to musical feeling and religious and mystical feeling. I wondered if the lightning stroke or the cardiac arrest had somehow stirred up his temporal lobes. I hope we may be able to sort this out. He himself says, as a medical man, he can make nothing of it. He says he simply thinks it came from heaven. He's inspired. However, since he also has himself a PhD in neuroscience, he's prepared to admit perhaps perhaps there is a parallel to all of this inspiration going on in the brain. So we are looking for the neural basis of musical and mystical inspiration precipitated by a lightning bolt.